My next recipe I have brought all the way back from the Amalfi Coast for you guys. I'm making an orange, cardamom and white chocolate cake. I was given this recipe from a family-run villa that I was staying in, and it is an absolute cracker of a cake. Let's get into it. Now, Amalfi Coast is known for their lemons more than their oranges, but these ladies use oranges in this cake. Now, this cake was on the breakfast table. You go to the breakfast buffet in the mornings and there would be prosciutto, tomatoes, breads, yogurts, and cakes. The Italians eat cakes for breakfast. I used to waddle back to my villa after breakfast and have another lie down for 2 hours. It was that good. So with the oranges, we're going to use the whole orange. Just nip off the ends, just to get rid of the excess pith. And just roughly chop. Whole thing. I'm going to pop that into a jug. You get a beautiful fragrance to the cake from using the whole orange. All right, now you could put this in a food processor. I've just got a stick blender here. Anything that's just going to mash up those oranges into a nice kind of slurry. So off we go. All right, that made light work of those oranges. Got a beautiful kind of pulp now. Now, being an Italian cake, of course, we're using olive oil in this, so I need half a cup of our extra virgin olive oil. All right, that olive oil gives us a beautiful fruitiness to the cake. Also going to pop in some vanilla. So I'm using vanilla bean paste. It's just an easy thing to have in the cupboard, but you could scrape out the seeds of a vanilla bean. Make sure we get all of that in there. And with our trusty stick blender, just going to blend that oil and vanilla through. Okay, that's the orange part of the cake prepared. And because we have used the whole orange, the skin can be a little bit bitter. So that's where our white chocolate comes in. The white chocolate is going to help balance out that bitterness in the orange. So we've got 120 grams of white chocolate, and I've just got some hot water in a pot. So we'll just go in with the chocolate. You want to make sure the bowl is not touching that water, and this will just gently melt the white chocolate while we get on with our eggs. We're going to sift some flour. So I've got some plain flour here, and I'm going to add into the plain flour some baking powder and some bicarb soda. So this is going to give a lift to our cake and add a bit of airiness to it. I always find the hardest part of sifting is actually getting it all in the bowl. We need about a teaspoon of cardamom. Beautiful citrusy smell to the cardamom, which is going to go fantastic with our oranges. I've also got some desiccated coconut. Obviously the olive oil is going to add moisture to the cake, but coconut is another fantastic way of keeping your cake nice and moist. So we've got some desiccated coconut to go in, and I'm just going to mix that through. Right, the next step is to cream some eggs and some sugar together. So this gives us a nice lightness to the cake. So I've got 1.5 cups of caster sugar into our mixer. And we're going in with 4 eggs. All right, these just need a minute or two, just till they're pale and fluffy. Okay, we have pale, fluffy eggs, which is what we're after. All we need to do now is to bring all of these elements together. So our orange mixture goes into our flour, coconut, cardamom mixture. Just going to use a metal spoon to fold this through. You don't want to kind of overwork the cake mixture too much. Okay, in with our sugar and egg mixture. Now I'll just put half in, and you can get away with working that a little bit firmer than the second half of that egg mixture. We want to keep the airiness and the lightness to those eggs and sugar. So folding through, the smell from those oranges and that fruity olive oil is absolutely magical. Before I forget, I will put a pinch of sea salt in. Anytime I use spice, even if it's in a cake, I like to put a little pinch of salt just to bring out the flavour in those spices. All right, the remaining egg and sugar mixture. Folding that through. and I'll pop in my white chocolate now as well. You can see that melted. Of course, if you've got a microwave, you could melt the chocolate in a microwave. Look at that, so good. All right, we keep folding. We have a nice combined batter now. Now I've got a lined springform tin here. Of course, just some olive oil with some baking paper. In with our orange, cardamom, white chocolate mixture. Look at that, you can see those lumps of kind of orange skin through there. It's gonna add a great perfume to this as it cooks. I've got the oven at 160 degrees, so quite low and slow for this. It is quite a large cake, and it's gonna take about an hour to cook. For the last hour, all I have smelt is orange and cardamom coming out of that oven. I am very excited to eat this cake. I've let it cool in the tin for about 20 minutes. She's looking pretty good. I've made this cake, I reckon, a dozen times since my trip to Positano, and it turns out like this every single time. It is a fail-safe recipe, and it's relatively easy as well. Yeah, that's what it looked like at the buffet in Positano, I'm pretty sure. I've gone close to the lady's recipe. Dusting of icing sugar. The coconut and the olive oil makes this cake quite moist, so we don't actually need an icing, but of course if you want to put one on, you could. Maybe a yogurt icing would be quite nice. I just like to go with the icing sugar. The moment of truth. To slice a wedge out of our cake. So I remember every afternoon we would come back from the beach in the little villa we were staying in, and the mother and daughter that ran the villa would be eating the leftover cake from the buffet in the afternoon with a cup of coffee. So now I know why they put cakes on the buffet breakfast for us. A little bit of double cream if you like. I will, because I'm being indulgent. There we have it, pretty impressive cake. I've got to tuck into this. Can't smell this and not eat it as soon as it comes out of the oven warm. It is such a good cake. It's so easy to make. A little bit of cardamom, beautiful flavour from the orange as well. I tell you what, those Italians know how to live.